For the Players, the pop culturist PlayStation podcast is fueled by the Man Shake. I lost 30 kilos in 10 months using this meal replacement shake. If you want to support the show and max in my weight loss journey, or to even start your own, click the link in the description below. The Man Shake. Real blokes, real results.
For the Players.
I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And this is For the Players, the pop culturist PlayStation podcast with 40 years of playing PlayStation and 8+ years of that games many combined. I'd like to thank you for joining us in this PlayStation conversation.
This PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning at 8 a.m. on podcast services, including Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you'd like to take part in future conversations with us, come and check out all our socials. Facebook, Discord, Instagram, and Twitter. All of those links can be found in the description below.
If you want to join us as the conversation happens, head over to twitch.tv/thepopculturist, where you can watch us record this show live. We become into the chat and become part of the show. If you want to support the show, you can. Tell your friends, tell your family about this PlayStation pod. If you are on podcast service, be sure to give us a 5-star rating and a written review. If you are on YouTube, like, subscribe, leave a comment below. I endeavor to answer every single comment. If you want to support us financially, you can at patreon.com/thepopculturist, as well as our merchandise store, popculturist.com/shop, where you can buy shirts and other assorted shit with our logos on it. We come at you once again from the internet, as what we normally do, but Max and I in different rooms. We are still in the middle of lockdown 4, live free and lock hard. But here in regional Victoria, restrictions have eased, yet we aren't allowed visitors.
Mm-hmm. And we couldn't be bothered recording this outside.
Yes, either that or we do it outside, like we do an outside show, like we record on my front lawn or Max's front garden or in the park nearby. But that seems like way too much effort. So instead, we're just going to go our standard lockdowny setup. Anyway, yeah, fuck. I do miss having people over. It's been like 2 weeks, and like, actually, that's us. Max, how are you finding this lockdown?
We've chatted about this online, but off air, I should say. This one hit me a bit harder than the last few.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I have a feeling that the main reason is because now my kid's a little bit older. She enjoys getting out of the house more and having that restriction. Kids don't understand why we can't leave the house. They just get cranky and shitty and a problem to deal with. And the other reason being, my mum's supposed to come down in like a week's time, and it looks like that's probably not going to happen anymore. Yeah. So if everything goes according to plan and we do exit our lockdown next Friday or this Friday, depending on when you're listening to this, my mum's supposed to arrive the Wednesday after. So like 4 or 5 days leeway. So yeah, it's kind of sucky. Nothing really changed for me too much. Like I worked through it. Although the place where I work, they shut down. But I was expected to still be there, so it was this week kind of dragged a lot.
As I imagine it would.
And everyone's like, oh, at least because obviously we're in regional Victoria, not metro. Our like you alluded to, our restrictions have eased up, but you still can't go and visit people. Like you can go outside for whatever reason you want to now, but you still can't go and see people. So it does make it hard.
It does. And it has, like, because this is the 4th time that we have done it. Now, granted, we haven't had the full-blown shit heap that had been the Melbourne one, which is like 100 and something days in brutal lockdown.
Yeah.
We haven't had that. And both you and I are also very, very lucky that we've been able to continue to work during this time.
Oh, yeah.
For me, my job just gets harder. So lockdowns make me just because I have to. It's trying to facilitate all my sessions and get an entire site up and running in days because the fuckers just decide to lockdown starts now. It makes my life incredibly difficult. It makes my life really, very hard. It's very difficult to do that. And as someone that works in mental health facilitator, mental health practitioner, it's very tough because I have to balance my 100-something clients' mental health make sure they're okay. You know, so we don't really get time to stop and think about myself or my own health or my friend's health, or you know, which is stressful in and of itself. And yeah, like I was meant to see my dad. My dad's he lives in the northern suburbs of Melbourne, so he's right in the hot spot where all the friggin', you know, old European descent individuals just go around kissing each other and being old and not wearing masks and stuff and just spreading that bastard. So he's like right in the smack center of it, and he can't do shit. Even if he wanted to come visit, he couldn't. And that sucks. And like, you know, just coming back off the weekend that I had in Melbourne, which was awesome, and it felt like truly living again.
Yeah.
To then now not being to do that again is a bit fucked. So like, I'm with you. You know, we're very lucky. We're in a great situation. It doesn't make it any less garbo. It's like, if anything, it's weirdly harder, this one.
Yeah, well, my sister lives in St Kilda, like fully metro, and I've been ringing over to like, you holding up alright? She's like, yeah, I'm getting there. Just watching a lot of YouTube, sleeping a lot.
Yeah.
Like, yep, fair enough.
That is tough. So I've just been doing the usuals that we do, which is our group wrestling watching sessions and stuff like that, and did some painting and just sort of trying to keep myself sane, you know. You know, just doing the things. You know what I'm saying? Like last night, I was actually had this awesome viewing party with friends of ours, newly acquired friends of ours, over at DMDU. So that's Deathmatch Down at the wrestling show until last week. So Jay, they put up a thing on Twitter. It was like, hey, who wants to come watch? Like, we're gonna pool a list of really ripper wrestling matches you should watch. Let's all hang out, because a lot of them are based in Melbourne CBD. So they're all like hard lockdown. They're like, let's just do something. So I jumped in with the party last night, and it was awesome. We just bullshitted about wrestling, like the good, the bad, the scene, like the local scene, sort of, you know, where the international scene's going. It was awesome. It was actually really, really cool. So it was fascinating, because I'm sitting there like chatting with Jay, obviously, and then a bunch of the wrestlers I had just seen, you know, which was awesome. It was such a cool little experience that I think outside of a lockdown it wouldn't happen. So that's not too bad at all. But yeah, outside of having lockdown sadness, how is life, Max?
It's not too bad. Yeah, no, we bought our kid a new bed. So the mattress arrived yesterday morning.
Oh, she's in her own big girl bed now?
So we're gonna try and get her back into her own big girl bed, because yeah, it's time. It's time.
Yeah, my son's like 17 now, and like, it's time to get your own bed, dude. And it's been very difficult. He's been a real butthole about it.
Yeah, she was fine, because obviously she used to sleep in her own cot, and then she got real sick one time, and then we're like, okay, well, you can come stay with us, and then we just couldn't get rid of her.
We had the exact same thing, man. My boy, probably like 2 years ago, I say that because it feels like it's been that long. Like, he got really sick, and the catch was, he's like, so like, we're not sleeping. We both have work. You just come into our bed. And he hadn't left. I've tried to sweeten all the deals. I'm like, if you go in there, you get this, you do that, and he's like, nah. Like, I've tried to bribe the living shit out of my child.
Maybe you should just do it. Maybe just do it the other way. Just be like, okay, this is your room now, and we'll go just go sleep in his room.
Yeah, his bed sucks. You know, probably why doesn't like it. But no, it is at the other end of the house, though. So I'm sure he's got some little mild like uncomfortability around it, but we'll get there. We'll get there as well. Yeah. The conversation that we have now is because, you know, he's 4. I'm like, you know, you got to be in your own bed before you turn 5, bud. It's like, but why? I'm like, because you should have already done it, man. Like, you know,
you should have already done it, man.
So by the time you hit 5, it's a bit fucked, don't you think? Well, here I'm talking to him like he's an adult. Like, it's a bit fucked, James. What do you think?
Just be like, next time you go to daycare, James, just ask all your friends where they sleep, and then if you're
is it in their bed? Yeah, that's right. Peer pressure. Now get out.
Get out.
Max, what have you been playing this week?
I've been playing a lot. Actually, I say I've been playing a lot, but I haven't really. So I'm still playing Destiny 2. Man, that game, I'm back into it hard. I also rolled credits on Operation Tango, the new PlayStation Plus game.
How was it?
So I played it with one of my good friends, Noodle.
Noodle.
And the best way to describe this game is it's similar enough to. It's one of those you have to play cooperative games, so similar to that of like It Takes Two, A Way Out, all that stuff.
Dope.
Where one player plays as the agent, and you generally move through a 3-dimensional space. Be it office areas or whatever, and the other person plays as the hacker, where you're basically just sitting inside computer screens the whole time. And the gimmick of the game is you have to use voice chat because you're only given half of the information. So to solve any of the puzzles, you're given half and your friend's given half, and you've got to do that back and forth. Hey, what's showing on your screen? This is what's on my screen. Let's work together to figure it out. A very short game. For now, there's only 6 missions.
How long did it take you to get through?
Maybe about 5 hours.
Not bad.
Give or take. Very short game. We did it over 2 sessions. So we did the first 3 missions one night, and then we did the last 3 the second night. Throughout the game, the game's difficulty kind of does ramp up by the end of it. It starts off simple enough, and then it gets much harder and harder. The puzzles are a wide variety of puzzles. The last one was really fun. It had a keep talking and nobody explodes vibe.
Oh yeah, that's a ripper game.
And that's
I was going to ask actually because that's the sort of the sense that I was getting from what you were saying.
Yeah, so it was very much similar to that. And the game was really fun, so I think we're gonna play through it again and swap roles this time.
I was gonna. My next question would have been, which role did you play, and did you feel a difference? But if you haven't played the other one,
I played the agent, but the trophy, the way the trophies pop is you have to play both sides.
Okay.
And there is some randomness involved because I know a couple of my other friends played it and they got puzzles that we didn't get.
Oh shit!
So it might have some replay value as well, which is nice. I mean, this is a PlayStation show. I played it on PlayStation 5. My friend played it on PlayStation 5, but it is cross-platform multiplayer as well. And cross-gen. There's a link to say, hey, if you want to play with a random, hit the Discord button and you can go and find someone to play with. It seems like a really cool system.
Sorry, no, there was the chat's going, hey, one of you is failing at the muting Discord game. That's me. That's this guy. And no one ever talks to me on Discord. So for those that through Twitch, Max is coming through. In the pod version, you ain't gonna hear it. But sorry, Twitch.
So I had a blast with that. Yeah, and then obviously I've dabbled in GTA. I've been playing a new game called where is it? Solasta. I can't think of what the tagline is, but it's on Xbox Game Pass. I'm playing it on PC. It's basically similar to that of like Baldur's Gate or Divinity. It's just a tabletop sim. So I went in, created my 4 characters, and made a cleric, a wizard, a rogue, and a pally. And the game's great. Like it's so akin to tabletop game where everything you do, a little D20 pops up on your screen, and you see the roll, and you see the pluses and minuses for all your bonuses, and it's really giving me that craving of playing tabletop RPGs again.
Oh man! Speaking of, because I'm gonna run with that. So I'm playing a campaign with my friends from work now. Because I've never, even though my day job I'm surrounded by tabletop role playing games, I don't play them that often, if ever. So and then because we're like, hey, we want to connect better as a team. Let's play. So I'm like, sure. So it was myself, Paris, my friend, a mutual friend Craig, my other work colleague Meg, and Paris's son. And his partner, and my other friend Alistair, who I also work with. So it's a big squad, and we all have varying characters. My original pitch was I wanted a character who was a wrestler, because someone pitched that. They're like, because I'm like, I don't know what to play. They're like, why don't you play a wrestler? You can make like a monk and they can brawl. I'm like, all right. And then I'm like, well, can I make him a healer? But the only way to heal someone is to give them like a DDT or something. So you grab them, you smash their head in the dirt, and suddenly they get healed. That was my pitch. Turns out that's really difficult to deliver. So, because with most efficient healing spells are distance, right? It's all about.
What you're telling me is you should have played a paladin, and you could use lay on hands.
Yes, that was the thing. Lay on hands was the only thing I could have used. So we shifted it, and I went into more of a bard category. But I'm still a wrestler, but with healing abilities. So his name is Cajones del Fuego, which translates to balls of fire. And yeah, so he's this cool. He's kind of like a short, he's got like a lucha libre mask on, but it's all medieval inspired, sort of like fantasy inspired. So push comes to shove, we're in our first encounter, and goblins come into this courtyard, and we just get monstered. So friend of mine, Meg, her character is just getting wrecked by these goblins. My guy's heroic. So part of his character traits is that he's heroic, and that anyone that needs their assistance, he's there. He's fucking on his way. Get out of the way. He's there for his team. So, my character comes darting. He jumps over a table. He climbs up Craig's character, Walter, and leaps off him. Now, because all I remembered at that time was I have a distance healing spell. So if I jump off Craig and do the healing spell, I'll be able to heal Meg from a distance. Little did I at the time, I totally forgot that when we were creating the character at the start, I was talking to pitching to Paris, who's the GM, and he's like, well, why don't you sort of, use your healing distance as the DX chop, right? So you chop your crutch and out comes, healing power. I was like, sure, why not? And as I'm like, I jump over Craig and oh fuck, I'm gonna have to throw my crutch at Meg, and it's gonna heal her. So to explain how he goes Padouge and his cojones did in fact go Del Fuego and saved a bunch of people with my penis. I did get points for role playing it though, but it was an incredibly difficult conversation. I'm like, I'm so sorry, Meg. I didn't mean to throw my crutch at you and create a positive effect. But it was really good to go back to it. It's a ton of fun. We're playing again tomorrow at time of recording, so we play on Sunday, and it'll be fun.
Oh, that sounds. Awesome.
So it was like, and then like pyrotechnics came out of his dick hole and like fucking healed Meg. She's got glowing light as like the fucking pyrotechnics. Oh, it was. I had, to my credit, I did sell it very well.
Jeez.
It was a ton of fun. But to jump off what you're saying, so Max, I was playing Returnal again this week. Because I fucking hate myself, apparently. I was like, I'm gonna go back to it and I'm gonna fucking get it. I can proudly say, not really a big achievement, but I have finally defeated the second boss. Ryan Betson is now in the third biome of the game. Still makes me want to kill myself, but I'm slightly less sad about it now because I did it. I achieved it. Was so insane. Like I'd unlocked. I had, what's the one that like shoots a bunch, like the longer missile looking one?
The Hollow Seeker.
I had the Hollow Seeker, and I just unlocked this thing where it like does little like side blast things, right? So I was having a good run with this weapon. I was fucking enjoying it. And then I was like, okay. So I gave it a couple of runs. I was able to get to the boss piss easy now. Like, now I know the run. I took your advice and say, don't fight everything, you fuck. Just run through it. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. So I did a little bit of that, and I was able to get me there quicker without having too much of a drastic effect. But during the first run of the first level, I was like, I'm going to find the store and I'll get the astronaut, which I did. Totally forgot about the astronaut, by the way. So when I got to the boss, and I am like, bing, 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 and I get through to the third health bar, and I'm at like 15% left health. And then he fucking stabs me and wallops me out. I'm like, no, you son of a bitch. Because I was watching wrestling at the time with Craig, and I'm like fucking swearing, and I'm shitty. And then I come back because I forgot I had the astronaut. I'm like, get fucked. And then he dies. I'm like, ah. It was such my son was in the room, and he's like, what happened, Daddy? I'm like, I beat him. I won. I finally got through the second boss. And he's like, well done, Daddy. And we high-fived, and it was a great sense of like elation and happiness. I just felt like I finally fucking achieved something in that game, even though like the game has been consistently just destroying me and stabbing me in the spleen for like weeks. As I said, I'm at like 60 deaths or something now, 19 hours in, and I'm only just on the third biome. Like, what the fuck is this torture? And then I get to the third biome, and then some flying things just fuck my face. And I'm like, oh, I'm instantly dead in like one hit. I'm like, oh, fuck this level.
Yeah, so many of the enemies in Biome 3 are flying. But yeah, I'm actually in the middle of a Returnal run right now. So while I was waiting for Windows to do its stupid updates before the show, I'm like, because I'm still searching for that last key fragment. So I was missing the 6th fragment, which is in the last biome. I just found it. Literally just before my computer turned back on, I found it. So I'm currently sitting at the boss door of the 6th biome, ready to get it.
Nice. And that's true ending, yeah? And then your Dunskies. 100% Dunskies.
No, so I'll have one more run. So once I finish this, I'm gonna go back to the house.
Yeah.
And then there'll be another something in there, another item that I can grab in there, and then I have to go through one more run, beat the final boss again, and then I can do something with that final item. So
that's so gross. Saying that though,
so two more runs hopefully.
I really love that I don't have to go through. I don't have to touch the second level again anymore.
Yeah, sometimes you can skip straight to the third world, but sometimes you find the teleporter to the second world first. So don't like accidentally jump in there.
Yeah, I do find the second one. Then I'm like, oh fuck that, and then I go find the third, which is mad. So that's really dope. Oh, what was I going to say as well? Oh, I think there's been some additional updates lately because I keep finding like silhouettes of other players and I can avenge them, which seems new. Like last time I played that wasn't there. Is that a new update?
Possibly.
Yeah, so you find like these, echoes, using like a division term, like the echoes of this experience, and then you follow the echo and they die. Like, well, if you can avenge them and get ether, or you can steal their shit, I think is essentially what's saying. And
yeah, you can cleanse using your ether and you'll get an item.
Yeah. Which is kind of cool. It's a great little idea because I keep finding them. I'm like, oh, and then I got notifications like someone avenged you. I was like, yeah, shout out to that person. I don't know who they were, but thanks, man. Appreciate it. What else have I been playing? I booted up Prison Architect for some fucking reason. I was just going through my list of purchase games on my PlayStation. I was like, I fucking love Prison Architect. It's so good. Like I bought it for work, to play during lockdown, like when I was streaming to my clients. So I thought it'd be a fun way for us to sort of have shared engagement. I played it a lot on PC and I love it on PC, and I was like, well, how's this going to work without a mouse and keyboard? And it's not too bad actually. Like it's relatively easy. It's just a little bit of extra button clicks because you don't have as many buttons in front of you as you would a keyboard, and the movement of a mouse is certainly missed, but it's a ton of fun. It's everyone should know about Prison Architect right now. You build prisons, you have prisoners in there that will try to escape, and you just got to keep building it and making it's kind of in the same boat of the reason I love like 2 Point Hospital and shit like that. It's that same level of sort of management simulation with also like building and stuff like that, which is mad. I dived a little bit back into Leisure Suit Larry again this week, not a whole lot further, just a little. I have moved into the next area and I'm kind of just starting into that, so there's not much for me to add there. Haven't played Outriders, so that's I still haven't got to the end of that. But other than that, I think I'm pretty much covered all my games. Is there anything that you haven't mentioned yet?
Just that my wife and I have started playing A Way Out. We're a little bit through that.
Nice,
and it's been fun.
How's she finding it with it being so tonally different from It Takes Two?
I think she enjoyed It Takes Two more. It had more of a whimsical feel to it, and it was a little bit more hands-on. A lot of the time, or where we're up to, a lot of the time it's very hands-off. We're kind of just... so for context, we're very early. We've stolen like the first 3 items that we need for the escape. Okay. So Ali keeps doing you should probably do that, and then I'm like, just get in. And then you're fighting them now. So we're not doing the whole teamwork thing as well as we did in It Takes Two, where you had 2 very significant,
clearly defined roles.
Yeah, clearly defined roles. Whereas in this, you kind of like whoever gets in kind of does the thing.
Fair. Well, that's about what we've been playing. Now, before we jump into the news, we'll do it as we do each and every week. This is our Get Less Fat update. For those of you that don't know, in 2020, I lost over 30 kilos using a product called the Man Shake. It's a meal replacement shake that helped me lose a stack of weight. They have, as now an ambassador for the product, they have come on board to help support for the players and both mine and now Max's weight loss journey. So Max started at the beginning of this year. Max, how is your Get Less Fat updates this week? Because I know it was a little bit hurdle last week because you meant to be going
away. So I've got my shakes again now. So I ran out about a week ago, so that they're back in now. So that's good. Chocolate is starting to grow on me. I'm just mixing it with coffee flavored now as well. So a bit of a mocha. I haven't been eating as much crap, which has been good, and I've lost about just under a kilo.
So is that pushed you over that 10 now? Because we're over that 10 now.
I was at the 10.
That's right.
So I'm a little bit over now.
Yeah.
Over. Good depending shit. On which way depending on how you word it. So it's been good.
Yeah.
It's been good to get back onto it. I did it today. I was talking to friends before the show, way before the show, and they're like, "Oh, I think I'm gonna go get lunch soon." And they're like, "Oh, gonna get Hungry Jacks." I'm like, "I could go some Hungry Jacks," and then I decided I couldn't be bothered leaving the house, so I made a shake.
Nice, yeah. The convenience really helps.
I'm just like, I don't want to go out, so I'm just gonna shake something up real quick. Yeah,
good call.
The convenience does make it a lot easier.
Yeah, so as I've talked about, I think this would be beginning of my 4th week with a minor change. So, for those that don't know, I've been doing the shakes, two shakes a day since March of 2020. So what I've done in the last 3 weeks is I've replaced my dinner, rather than with something that I was making myself. I was using the My Muscle Chef meals or U-Foods, depending on what I bought from IGA at the time, to sort of help keep my calories down, keep my portion control down, and see if that would have any additional impact. Well, in 3 weeks, Max, I have now lost 4 and a bit kilos. So I started this little thing at 111 because I did bounce back a kilo, and then now I'm sitting at 107.5. So that to me is just fucking mint. It's absolutely lovely. So I'm now sitting at closer to 35 kilos lost over this whole journey, which has been it's been absolutely amazing. And the hurdle that I have, because there's no gym right now, man. So I can't go to the gym. I'm not exercising because it's shitty outside. So I'm not going for walks.
Because you were for a while just doing cardio, correct?
So the original plan for what I'm doing now was to replace my dinners and just do cardio. Mm-hmm. And so I would step, because I for the start of the year I was doing weightlifting as well, and I was really enjoying it. But I was like, well, I need to lose weight, and I think the weightlifting might be hindering me. So I was going to do just cardio and just the eating that I have now. So on a positive, knowing that I can, just by replacing my dinners with these My Muscle Chef meals or the U-Foods, I've lost 4 kilos even with minimal exercise. So hopefully when lockdown eases, I'll return to the gym, and I think I might keep going on these meals for a little bit longer. Maybe make it 4 weeks, so another week, maybe another 2 weeks, and then add the cardio in on top and see if that's going to give me that extra bump. Because I said, now I'm sitting at 107. Like, I haven't been 107 kilos since 16. I'm 32 now. So like, if my goal had always been as close to 100 as I could get from my original start weight of 142. So I'm like this close to my goal, and I think I really can achieve it, which is fantastic. So I know when I did the show last week, I mentioned my weight was around 107, but there were some additional factors that got me down that low. So I sprung back up the next day pretty hard, mostly because, as I said, I got backroom drunk last week and I vommed. So that didn't help. That kind of instantly lowered my weight loss because I was just so empty. But yeah, then it kind of went back up, and now it's back to almost exactly where it was post-vom, which was nice.
Post-vom.
No voms this week. But yeah, so if you want to support Max and I on our weight loss journeys, or you want to maybe even start your own, you can. There is a link in the description below. It is bit.ly/FTP Manshake. Just by clicking on the link, you are showing the support of the show. You don't even have to buy anything. Just click the link is more than enough for us. But anyway, let's now get into the section called Inform the Players, where we tell you about what happened this week in PlayStation. And Max, I believe you have a top story, some breaking news, in fact.
It's not quite so much breaking, but it is definitely the top story of the week.
It's fucking heartbreaking news, Max.
Well, I'll let you roll with it. It is your news.
Today, the 5th of June, 2021, 4:53 p.m. approximately, I concede to the 2021 video games draft. As of right now, there is no way for me to even remotely succeed. After some additional news that has come out this week, I have no choice but to forfeit and admit that, quote, Max is the best, end quote.
So are you now regretting your decision, what was it, maybe 2 months ago, to swap out some games, but you had to have them on next year's list just to keep yourself in the running? Had you have not done that, had you have conceded a few months ago, you'd have a clean slate for next year, and you wouldn't be stuck with Hogwarts Legacy and the Batman game that may or may not come.
Gotham Knights. A little bit.
Yeah.
Like
hindsight's 2020, I guess.
Yeah, but like for me, it was like I had a feeling like it wasn't looking good for me. It wasn't looking positive, and I was like, I'm just going to fight the fight for funsies. However, it's backfired on me something fierce. I hang on, the book's over here.
You fought you tried to fight the fight as hard as you could, but Mr. Corey Barlog himself came and cheap shotted you.
To make sure, yeah. Okay, so look, I'm just. Is it in here? Is it in this one? Yeah, here it is. Here. All right. So as we discussed last week, because Max has one game left and it's Far Cry 6, and then he's completely had a success. Every game has come out. Mine, on the other hand, is not having as much fun. So now, granted, I do still have Ratchet and Clank coming next week. Coming this week, sorry, it's coming out Friday. I still have Deathloop coming at the back end of this year, and I do still have the Dark Pictures House of Ashes. However, with the loss of both Gotham Knights, Hogwarts Legacy, and now God of War Ragnarok, which it was confirmed this week, which we'll touch upon a little bit later, about how that game is confirmed delayed to 2022. I am down 1, 2, 3 games minimum out of 8. I'm fucked. So there is no, even if every other game I got was to score 100, I would, there's no way, like even that perfect run, I would be fucked.
Yeah.
So as it stands right now, and because it looks like Horizon Zero Dawn may not even come out this year, we had a state of play last week. No date. That motherfucker could be coming in March next year. So rather than just get decimated for the next 6 months and fight unnecessary fight, I'm just going to call it here. And unless Ratchet and Clank comes out at like a 98, then I might still be beaten. No, I'm still beaten. There's no fucking chance. But well done, man.
So that brings us to 1 apiece.
That does. So next year is the tiebreaker. So that's going to be interesting. It was it was good to win last year. It was good. Look, I'll admit, I did go in a little bit ballsy this year. I did pick some biggins, and you picked a lot of sort of smaller games and a lot of things that you were pretty confident releasing in the first part of the year. So we did play differently, but I think I just got fucked, just by pandemic and bad luck.
Yeah,
definitely. It wasn't entirely bad choices. There was like picking God of War Ragnarok. That was a bad choice, but at the time, the information we had at hand, Hogwarts Legacy, Gotham Knights were looking pretty solid.
Yeah.
So I just got fucked post pandemic. You just played a safer game and it worked in your favor.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. That's cool. Go, Max. Shout out to you, Max. Do you want to have would you like to respond?
Just a victory lap.
We'd like to respond to my conceding speech with your victory speech.
Look, I appreciate everything. I'd like to thank the PopC community for giving me such a banger list to choose from. And I look forward to hopefully winning 2 in a row next year. Ooh, calling it out.
The confidence, I love it.
All right, let's kick things off with some Sony news now. Let's talk about the PlayStation website. So Sony has confirmed the official PlayStation website will be relieved of its social feature MyPlayStation as of the 28th of June 2021. Users will no longer be able to access this part of the website, further pushing people away from browsers and towards the app or the consoles themselves.
I didn't know this was a thing. I can tell you I'd never used it, so I'm devastated.
Yeah, I'm the same. I don't really use it. It's not a huge issue.
Look, it's important to have that information out there, but it
makes sense to push to the app or the console themselves.
It is interesting that they are actively closing a lot of their social spaces down. Like Communities is gone, this is now gone. Especially on the back of them getting involved with Discord, it's very likely they're going to want to integrate all those things into Discord within the console itself. Or one of the other rumor mills that has been going around is the return of PlayStation Home. Obviously with the success of like, I want to say Rec Room, but it's not Rec Room. What's the VR game on PC?
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
The one where you have an avatar and people just kind of fucking hang out and do VR things together.
I mean, there's so many of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, whatever that VR chat. Thank you, Puck.
Yeah,
Reverend Puck in the chat, everyone. So VR chat. So maybe they're gonna do something like that with PlayStation Home and sort of create a new social space, because PS Home was pretty popular on the PS3, and people were reasonably bummed out when it did get canned a little while ago. But it's all cool. Well, one thing they talked about, earlier in this year, Max, with the shutdown of Studio Japan, and they'll talk about this being, everything sort of being reshuffled, and that has been 100% confirmed this week with the announcement that Team Asobi, the new Tokyo-based the developer team behind Astrobot Rescue Mission and Astro's Playroom, is expanding and moving on to, quote, bigger projects. So the studio confirmed the news itself over the official PlayStation blog with a post detailing the team's origins and hopes for the future. Team Asobi also has a brand new logo. So previously they were just sort of this little offshoot team, but they're now being marketed as the Team Asobi, which is essentially replacing Studio Japan. Quote, following the release of Astro's Playroom for the PlayStation 5, Team Asobi is now spreading its wings and growing bigger. This is a very exciting time for the team, and we are very much looking forward to this next chapter. We wanted to take this chance to thank all of you, the PlayStation fans, for your kind words of support over the years. Cool. They're committing, man. Yeah. They're going hard. And obviously with Astrobot being the potential of Astrobot as a great little mascot is amazing. And I even though it sucks that a bunch of other studios, because I know you and I, when we first heard that news, we're like, maybe it's more of a reshuffle, but it turns out to not be. It did turn out to be a bit more of a shutdown.
Yeah.
Which is a bit disappointing. But hopefully they can still use Team Asobi to build and grow and create some cool little experiences. And I think they wanted to get them involved in XDev as well. So maybe that's all part of it. Who knows?
Make a new Ape Escape, but let me play as Astrobot. Ooh. If that's how I have to get my next Ape Escape game,
Astro's Ape Escape,
I'll play it.
Oh yeah, give me that.
Some cross-generation news, Ryan. So in a new interview with the official PlayStation blog, PlayStation Studio boss Herman Holst is asked about cross-gen development. Holst points out that Sony can't simply abandon over 110 million PlayStation 4 users, which is why titles like Horizon Forbidden West, possibly God of War Ragnarok and GT7 will be cross-generation games. Up until now, the last two titles, being Ragnarok and Gran Turismo 7, have been announced for PlayStation 5 only, but with Holst's words suggesting that they may also hit PlayStation 4. Quote, where it makes sense to develop a title for both PS4 and PS5. For Horizon Forbidden West, the next God of War, and Gran Turismo 7 will continue looking at that. And if PlayStation 4 owners want to play that game, then they can. If they want to go on and play the PlayStation 5 version, that game will be there for them also. Now, we've got some news a little bit later on how, referring to Horizon, how it's not being hamstrung by being developed for both current gen
Yeah.
and previous. Hopefully that shows through with these two titles if they choose to go that route. But they make a good point. You can't just give up 110 million people.
Yes, but
especially when
there is a problem here, and they are creating this problem. They are building this problem. Like, I understand console scarcity sucks, but console scarcity has always been a problem. And no other generation of PlayStation specifically has ever done anything like this, right? Obviously, you had games like Metal Gear Solid 5, which did go, Phantom Pain, which did go across PS3 and PS4. Not a shortage reason. That was just a cognitive decision made by Konami, right? So just because, right now, if PS5s are selling as well as they say they are, they talk about how it was one of the most successful launches in PlayStation history, then there's plenty of them out there. As of this very moment, we have Ratchet and Clank coming out in, as the time this goes up, in 4 days. We do not know of any other PlayStation 5 specific exclusive release. What we had GT7 coming to both. God of War, whatever the fuck, because they haven't officially announced it, coming to both. Horizon coming to both. We have Returnal and we have Demon Souls. That's it. And Ratchet. Three. Like, and that is for the foreseeable future as well.
And Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade is a PlayStation 5 exclusive.
Yes, but like I'm talking about.
But yeah, I get what you mean.
First party
stuff.
Releases, right? Or at least second party in terms of, say, Returnal and actually they're both second party, Returnal and Housemarque. So Returnal with Housemarque and Demon Souls with Bluepoint, right? So the only one complete first-party exclusive with Insomniac's Ratchet and Clank. And there is nothing. There is no slate. There is no future of anything just PS5. So if you own a PS5 now, sorry, dude, there is nothing explicitly for your console. PS5 owners should be a little bit shitty. Really. Like, don't get me wrong, they're going to be able to play these games great and they're going to be all run cool, but this is the exact same problem that Microsoft are going to face, right? There's no reason to buy the next generation console when there's currently no next generation console games. And that's the problem that we are facing right now, because from where we sit, looking forward, there is nothing. Nothing that makes you go, I need a PS5. That is a fucking interesting decision, and I don't know why they're doing it. I have no idea why they're doing it. Am I wrong?
Not really. I mean, you make a good point. Obviously, PlayStation 5 is going to be the better place or better way to play that game as opposed to playing it on PS4. But yeah, at the end of the day, it will come down to personal preference. And if you've already got a PS4 and all these games are still coming to it, you're in no real rush to upgrade unless you're like, I have to have that newest, latest, best.
Yeah, and if that's the case, like, oh, okay, cool. Like, like you and I, day one adopters. We both bought our PS5 on day dot, and right now it's like I probably could have waited. Like, Returnal's cool. And like, we wouldn't, obviously, because of the content we make, but it's just bizarre, really. Like, and I do understand from a business decision about, we have 100 next, but like, that is such an unnecessarily conservative decision, right?
I wonder at what number it would have been. It doesn't matter anymore.
What do you mean? Like,
so if there weren't 110 million PS4 users, what if there was only 50 million?
Oh,
Is that small enough of a number that they would just be like, all right, we're gonna jump ship. Yeah. This is the point where this is the cutoff point. Or do you think that these games were originally slated for just PS5 and then the pandemic hit and they didn't sell as many consoles as they thought they were going to sell?
But they're selling gangbusters though. That's the thing.
They are, but that it might not be what they want. They might have wanted to sell more, and because of these restraints, they can't.
But these restraints aren't hindering them. Yes, the market isn't flooded with PS5s now, but as it has been on the record, they have claimed that the PS5 is one of the most successful PlayStation launches, period.
Yeah.
Like their market share right now is fucked. It's like 40-something%, right? So it's not as if there aren't PS5s out there. There are always going to be people trying to seek one out. But right now, according to the data that we have been given, that we are seeing, this is no reason to. Now, it's proportionately way smaller than the PS4 market share right now in terms of the consoles that are out there. So, you know what I mean? Like that's how I see it. Like,
but I mean,
yes, they want the games to sell well, right? Like the consoles,
yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like,
to sell well, but like, shouldn't the idea be you could make more money if you incentivize people to buy your new console and seek out that console? Like the demand is already there. Add to the demand. Create the salivating experiences that you can only get on a PS5. And for many, Horizon would do that. God of War 2, Ragnarok, whatever, would have done it. And to make matters worse, because you haven't put it in the news, but I've pulled up the quote from Sony Santa Monica, and we'll run through that in a minute. But like with that being actually, we'll touch into that now. Hang on, let me jump over here. All right, so Sony Santa Monica announced this week about the delay of God of War Ragnarok, and they put this quote up on social media. Since the release of the next God of War teaser last year, we have been humbled by the amount of love our community has shown us. We're incredibly grateful to see so many people excited to experience the next chapter of Kratos and Atreus' journey. We remain focused on delivering a top-quality game while maintaining the safety and well-being of our team, creative partners, and families. With this in mind, we've made the decision to shift our release window to 2022. Thank you all for your continued support. We'll get some exciting things we've got some exciting things in the works, and we can't wait to show you all. So with that in mind, right? It's being delayed into 2022. In theory, by then there should be more PS5s, right? It's not as if that, like, as it stands this very moment, like, oh shit, if they were wanting to launch in October or the back end of the year, like they originally had planned from the information that we have available with 2021, right? They're like, shit, that'll be a year from release. With a global pandemic, how many consoles are out there? So they've pushed it further back. There is no reason to put that motherfucker on PS4.
I mean, the issue is they've obviously been working on this for years, for however long between God of War. Yeah.
They knew the console was coming. It's not as if the PS5 surprised them.
No, I'm not saying that it didn't, but it was obviously in their mind from the beginning that they were going to be building it for both. And even though now it's been delayed by a year, that's not it's now not the point of, well, let's just can this. They've got an extra year to get consoles. They've been working on a PS4 version of this. Why just can it?
Because they have a new console to sell. Look, I understand that, like, we're in this weird fucking blurry future, right? Where generations aren't a thing, whatever. But for Sony, they are. Their entire business model, as it stands right now, is defined by these generations. Like in Xbox, right? With Microsoft, with what they're doing with Xbox right now, they aren't incentivizing you to buy an Xbox Series X, right? Because right now they don't have the games that take full advantage of it. PlayStation are in the same boat now. It also brings up that later argument. Why didn't you just delay the fucking new consoles, right? That's my point here. My point of contention is you should, from the business decision, to me, random fucking nobody on the internet says you should be selling shit to your new console. Under no previous history has this ever been a thing. Like, there's never been a concern that the other one was sold better, right? The idea is, if you look, it's always about pushing to the next one and selling it. Yeah, look, Breath of the Wild came to the Wii U, but at no point did they sell it as a Wii U game. They were like, it's a Switch game that is kind of coming to Wii U. Like, that was the sell, and that's what they should be doing here. Not being like, okay, everyone, don't worry, calm down. We'll still love you, and we'll still get you your PS4 version of the game. Don't worry, there, pat. I'm sorry you don't have a PS5 right now. I know that sounds super elitist of me, and I know.
But that's the thing, like, are they designing these games for PlayStation 5 and then just, like, putting and then just like downgrading them for the PlayStation 4. They're not doing it the other way. They're not building it for.
Makes sense. R&D doesn't work that way. R&D doesn't happen in 6 months. They have known the potential specs of the PS5 for years. It's not as if they've just randomly been given dev kits, right? We know
that's what I mean. Like, so they're building these games for PS5 and then dumbing them down to put on PlayStation 4, which is why a lot of the time you're getting a very subpar. What's the word I'm looking for? Performance on a previous gen console.
And I just
like
can't
like right now, if you boot up Miles Morales on PlayStation 5, it runs significantly better than it does on PlayStation 4. Like, there's no doubt about that. And you're going to get a subpar experience playing these new games on a previous gen console. Then why deliver the
subpar experience? Don't you want to tell people that this is the version of the game you want? Because once again, if it does run shittier, you know what the conversation will be? God of War Ragnarok runs like shit. Horizon Zero Dawn runs like shit. What are you playing it on? Oh, PS4. But most people don't think of that. If I think from a marketing perspective, it's that one sentence grab. That one sentence grab is Horizon Forbidden West runs like shit. No one cares about the additional context. That is the headline, and they are setting themselves up for potential failure, and it's bad. And like, it does seem like a dumb decision, a really, really dumb decision, and like, I know I'm an idiot, but it's alright. I understand it's coming from this weird elitist sort of status. But one thing I did also want to mention as well, Max, that I noticed you didn't put in here as well. It's just another comment from Bend Studio. So over this one particular night, they announced like a bunch of press releases went out, a bunch of statements went out. And so we had Sony Santa Monica, and we also had Sony Bend, or Bend Studio, the guys out of Oregon, most known recently for Days Gone. They released a statement saying, "We are beyond grateful for your support with Days Gone and are truly honored by the amount of passion our community has shared with us for our world and characters. Your enthusiasm motivates us to continue to improve and create experiences that will last a lifetime. From the Siphon Filter series to Resistance Retribution to Uncharted Golden Abyss and Days Gone, we are very excited to announce today that we are expanding the Banjo portfolio with a brand new IP. We hope you embark on this journey with us, and we can't wait to show you what we've been working on." So if anything, this reiterates the discussion and the piece that Jason Schreier dropped around Bend Studio about how that they were kind of lumped in with this bullshit around Naughty Dog, and that they were given permission to run through with their own IP. So it's now out there. It is now official. Sony Bend are working on a brand new product, which I know has disappointed many, myself included, around Days Gone. But hopefully it's something cool. It's something exciting. And then maybe if this doesn't pan out too well, they'll then return to Days Gone. Does this have any of this have you excited at all?
As someone who hasn't really played Days Gone,
the fuck,
I'm not too fast. I tried it because obviously it's part of the PlayStation collection for PS5 owners. It seems so slow to get into, and I never really grabbed me. I'm glad they get to work on something new. It's always good when a studio still gets to keep push their own ideas forward. It does seem a shame that they may have wanted to work on a Days Gone 2 and they've been told no, but you can work on a new IP. Especially after the whole Sony's being conservative and wants to make those safe games. If they're going to let them make a new IP anyway, why not use the known quantity of Days Gone? Like, it already exists. Let them flesh out that world more. But, who am I?
Yeah, who the fuck are we to know? We don't know shit. Well, at least we know we're not getting a sneaky Days Gone 2 announcement at E3 this year, Max. But bring us to the next piece of news.
Alright, so E3 Online. E3 kicks off next weekend.
This weekend, for those of you listening as this goes up. This weekend.
So here's the rundown on when you can tune in. So on Sunday, the 13th of June, starting at 3 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Ubisoft press conference, followed by the Gearbox press conference. On Monday, the 14th of June, starting at 3 a.m., you can watch the Xbox Bethesda press conference. Then Square Enix, and then we catch the Future Games Show. On Tuesday the 15th of June, starting at 1 a.m, we get the Indie Showcase, we get Take-Two Interactive's Showcase, and we get Capcom's Showcase. And on the final day, the Wednesday the 16th, kicks off at 1 a.m. again. We get a Nintendo Direct, followed by the Bandai Namco Showcase.
These times are fucked, Max.
Yeah, I know. It's totally like I'm not going to be at work at that time.
No, but like it's absolutely fucked. Like previously, they mostly sat around 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. on Australian time, so we didn't have to be up literally in the middle of the night to watch.
So I mean, the local times for them are 10 a.m. and 8 a.m.
Yeah, they used to be in the afternoon. They used to be about midday or like early afternoon, or even in the evening US time, right? Because they would do the conference at the back end of the day. So now because they're digital, they can just drop them at the start of the day, and it's not a thing. So I for one am not staying up or getting up early to watch any of these because actually, Max, before I jump into my little spiel on E3, what are you gonna get involved in any of these? Because you're at work, so you can watch them as they happen.
Well, so I'll be at work. Obviously, I start work at 11:30 at night. I finish at 7 o'clock in the morning, so I can probably listen to a lot of these things while I'm working. The main ones that I'm interested in are obviously Square Enix being a huge Square doc. Capcom Showcase sounds pretty interesting, and then I'll probably watch the Bandai and the Nintendo Direct.
Yeah, so I will not be watching any of these live. I'll be watching them when I wake up, in my own time. Because
highlight reel. You'll wait till someone makes a highlight reel, then just watch those.
No, I'll watch them at work. Watch them with my clients. But
yeah,
like it's just E3 has lost its luster for me. And I do think part of that is the lack of Sony. Like, Sony was my investment into E3 because I'm like, what is coming to PlayStation? Because I said I've been doing this games biz stuff for 7 years now, right? So as of literally last week, as of the 3rd of June or 4th of June? 3rd of June. 4th of June. As of the 4th of June, that was the day that we first ever recorded an episode of what was to become the pop culturist. That was day dot, right? So in that last 7 years, I've been heavily involved in games press, games coverage, right? And for a big hunk of that time, Sony was the winner at E3. They came out and they just fucking punched everyone in the face and they won. So for me, covering with PlayStation being my beat for that 7 years, that's how I identify E3. I identify E3 as PlayStation's time to shine. However, since they've stepped out of 2018? 19. No, 19.
It's been a few years.
Yeah, so I'm just like, yeah. Like, I'll watch it, and like, obviously all the third-party releases are cool. Like, Capcom have been doing nothing but fucking wins at the moment. Square, like, I'm excited for Square for you.
I'm so excited for Square.
I also really want to see what Microsoft are doing because I need to know what their first parties are up to. Because for me, I want to see the competition. I want to see what they are doing. I want to be straight blown the fuck away and be like, damn. Like, what can be done for this? And like, Ubi's interesting. I don't know what they're going to do, but like, yeah, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of hate around that.
I mean, we kind of pretty much know what Ubi are doing. I think they've announced it. We're going to see Rainbow Six, whatever the quarantine or whatever it is. Yeah. We'll see more of Far Cry 6. We'll see more of whatever. I think it's all going to be known quantity stuff. I don't think we're going to get many unknowns from them. Yeah,
me either, yeah. I don't understand why Gearbox has their own fucking thing, though. Bethesda teaming up with Xbox is a big save.
Aren't Gearbox a publishing house now?
Yeah, they certainly are. But like,
so they'll probably show off some cool indie stuff.
But there's also like a Coke Media presentation at some point. Like, there's a bunch of smaller little shindiggies as well, which is cool. And eventually there's a lot to come out of next week, so everyone should get excited. It's gonna be tough. We might have to do a midweek show, Max, depending on. Oh, actually, no. If we'll just do the show all the way through to the end. Next week's episode can be all about any leaks that happen just before it goes live, because that's what will happen. We'll be surrounded by fucking leaks in the days leading up. So, let us know what you think, man. Do you think E3 will get you excited?
Well, like I said, there's something on each day that I'm kind of interested in, so it'll keep me checking in on it.
I'm just gonna leave it, and then we'll do a show as we normally do on.
I'm just
Saturday.
off the rumors of last week of there possibly being a Final Fantasy Souls-like game. I'm just like, please.
Yeah,
And that's all I want to know. I just want to know what's going on there. I just want some good old-fashioned Final Fantasy news.
Yeah,
and then I'll be happy.
I feel that. But what I'm looking for, right, Max? I'm looking out on the horizon. Forbidden West. After the state of play last week, we have had some more information come out about the upcoming title, which, might I add, my wife is currently playing. For the first time in like years, she's actually playing games, and she's playing Horizon Zero Dawn right now. I'm like, you need to play this game. It's dope. I need to finish it. If you're playing it and you get further than me, that makes me look like shit. Therefore, I have to play it. The hot button topic at the moment, of course, is the cross-gen and Sony's decision to release games like God of War, GT7, and PS4 and PS4 as well as PS5. Many feel that these games can't possibly reach their full potential while still being shackled to ancient hardware. Apparently, Max quoted me. Mathijs.
I think it's Mathis.
Mathis de Jonge, Jonge. It's going to go Mathis. The director of Horizon Forbidden West disagrees. Quote, I don't think the cross-generation development was limiting in any way, end quote, he told Singapore News Live. When we started with the concept of this game, we had so many great ideas that ended up being included, to the point that we didn't really think about hardware limitations or anything. We just wanted to design a really nice, unique experience for the player, an awesome adventure. He continued, that's how we also brainstormed all the quests and events that the player is going to go through. I think that the big delta between these two consoles, apart from the 3D audio, quick loading, and the DualSense, of course, is on the graphical side of things. On the PS5, we can add so much more detail graphically. We can see the tiny hairs on Aloy's face, for example. We can also see a ton of detail from far away. How do you pronounce his name? Matthias added that there are some outrageous visual effects that will be present only in the PS5 version, including the existence of moss on rocks. Woo. Quote, each individual strand of moss is rendered individually, he exclaimed. So this machine is so powerful, and it can add so much more detail to the image. I think that's one of the biggest deltas next to the processing power of the machine. We also use it for a specific lighting rig. This is a cinematic lighting rig that we normally only have time to use in cinematics. Because the PS5 is so much more powerful, we have it on all the time. During gameplay, there's a very high quality rendering and lighting system on a lot. So there are all these extra features that make the game look even better. For the PS5 version, we are supporting two modes. One is performance mode, and another is something like a quality mode, they added. The quality mode is 4K 30 frames per second, but the performance mode is indeed 60 frames per second. So yes, we do have a 60 frames per second version for the PS5. This is the same kind of specification as we've seen in countless other titles recently, so expect a slightly lower resolution in performance mode with the advantage of that enhanced frame rate. As part of the new interview with Game Informer, Guerrilla Games has also revealed that a quote lot of Horizon Forbidden West development and PlayStation is actually taking place on the PS4. Matthias also added, a lot of development has taken place on the PS4 and a lot of playtesting is also done on the PS4, so we are ensuring that owners of that console will have a great experience and that the game will look fantastic on that console. For the PlayStation 5, we can go much further, of course. Visually, we can add a lot more detail graphically. The rendering technique for the underwater scenes is so special on the PS5. It has extra detail and extra systems. Max.
It's interesting that that they've said that a lot of the play testing and development is happening on PlayStation 4. Despite all these new bells and whistles that they're talking about that will be available for the PlayStation 5 version, it's interesting to see them go, we're going to make sure this game runs on PlayStation 4 as well. And I wonder if this is on the back end of Cyberpunk running like hot trash on old-gen platforms versus current gen.
Yeah,
because if they're going to support it, because like you said before, you know, that one line catch grab of it runs like shit, they're gonna want to make sure that it doesn't run like shit on anything.
Yeah. Like, I do appreciate them putting that little bit of extra oomph in. I do like that. but it breaks it. I don't know why. It just bums me out a little bit.
Do you think that the game would be? I mean, it's hard to tell because obviously we haven't played it yet. We don't know too much about it. But do you think the game would be better? Let's use Miles for instance. Do you think Miles could have been better than what it was if they didn't have a PlayStation 4 version?
Yes.
Do you think they withheld shit just to make it run?
I don't think they withheld it, but I think it would make the transition to the next generation more impactful. Because it is one of those things. If they are, like I said, there's compromise there, and like, you know, I understand this. It would be a lot of hubris within PlayStation, which everyone gives them shit for, of being like, no, you want to play, you buy a PS5. You know what I mean? And like to me, that seems fine. That's the practice, right? Like that's not monopolistic in practices, whatever people were bullshitting about Sony the other week. Like this is them going, if you want this experience, you play it. We've made it for this device. It's the same thing as if you don't have a RTX 3070, you're not gonna get the best version of this game. And I appreciate that they're like, well, they still want to be able to play it for those that don't have that shit. But I don't know. I guess because look, admittedly, the way I see generations is a little bit different. I like clearly defined generations. I like there being a noticeable incentive for someone to go and play this new thing. I like knowing that there is something being made for that. Like, you know, because I don't play PC games, so that whole PC structure I don't care. All right? And this model of making it across platforms and just being slightly upgraded is likely what the future is going to be.
The future
is now old man is where I'm at.
Are you an iPhone guy or an Android guy?
iPhone.
Do you run out and get the new iPhone every year?
No. Mostly because I can't afford it.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, that's fair.
Why are we using that comparison?
Just because there's no clear incentive to upgrade. In my mind, there is no clear incentive to upgrade a generation of iPhone. They're generally the same thing.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, the practice is once the new one comes out, the old one just mysteriously becomes shit all of a sudden. But the camera pucks doesn't change.
Yeah. No, like, but in terms of using that as an example, no, I don't. Like, I used to get one every 2 years when my plan would run out, just because it's whatever. But then, like, now that I'm old and I don't fucking care as much anymore, I'm like, I like the one I have, and I like paying less a month so I can buy games. So I don't think about it.
Fair enough.
That's kind of where I look at it. But it is respect. Look, it's good to hear that the development seems to be relatively going well. There is nothing in this information about it looking like it's hitting this year. There's nothing saying that it won't hit this year. Like I do think they are playing intentionally vague around the potential release date of this game.
Oh, they're doing the play of if we don't give it a release date, we can never delay it.
Spot on.
Yeah. As you alluded to earlier this week, we got a bunch of studios come out telling us what they're doing. One of those studios, Ryan, is PixelOpus. Ooh. So a PlayStation blog post earlier this week on the future of Sony's first-party studios has sort of opened the floodgates a little bit for those in the earlier stages of development. Concrete Genie maker PixelOpus has revealed it will be collaborating with Sony Pictures Animation for a new PlayStation 5 title. This news was confirmed via a new job listing looking for a principal graphics programmer, which also makes mention of the new Unreal Engine 5. PixelOpus also advertised the position on Twitter, posting, quote, "We are hard at work on an exciting new PlayStation 5 title and continuing to grow. Come and join us on this unique project with hashtag PlayStation Studios." Sounds like the project is in early stages of development, but it's exciting nonetheless. I wonder what the job listing also states, quote, "We are seeking a principal graphics programmer to contribute to our development process as we tackle exciting innovation and rendering opportunities through a collaboration with Sony Pictures Animation."
See, PixelOpus are best known for Concrete Genie, the game that came out in 2019 or whatever, and they did Entwined a couple of years before that. So they haven't really done a whole lot. They're pretty quiet. They're like a small team of like under 30 people, and then they're by far the most like the smallest team that PlayStation has as part of their first party studios. What I love about this is that they are being used as cool little trial studio right now. Like they're like, hey, can you fuck with Unreal Engine 5? Can you do something cool? Like, so Concrete Genie specifically was rad. I loved it. It was unique. It was cool. There's these little things about it. Like they've had this such, apart from it being a literally game about creativity, it had such a creative difference compared to what everything else PlayStation first parties were doing at the time, or PlayStation Studios were doing at the first time, right? So I love if they're going to channel that again here, because when we looked at the PlayStation first parties, PixelOpus are the one that is most questionable, for lack of a better word. I mean, you look at them, you're like, how do you operate? How are you allowed to operate? Like, I mean that as in like, Concrete Genie didn't do gangbusters. Yeah, you're a small team. That's probably why you're around, because you're not expensive and you're not releasing expensive games. But it's like that is the big question. But I like it. This to me at least tells me that they are going to be around for a while. They're getting the support, and we're going to get cool, unique, different experiences.
Well,
and
it's interesting
to with Unreal Engine 5.
Well, it's interesting to see that they're collaborating with Sony Pictures Animation as well.
Yeah. Like, why not?
Tying it all up together.
Well, I think coming off the back of Kenna, Bridge of Spirits, like obviously that's still in development right now. It's coming out in August. Where that they are all ex-animators. Maybe they're going to channel some of that sort of creative energy and be like, oh shit, maybe we can do, use Sony Pictures Animation, which I think like Despicable Me and stuff. So sort of bring that. I think Unreal, because I know Unreal Engine gets used a lot in terms of general animation more recently. So maybe this is a great way to sort of, synergize, business words, those two divisions together and create a bigger spread of PlayStation games as well as PlayStation movies.
Yep.
No for Speed, Max. 5 Need for Speed games spanning the PS3 generation have been taken off the PS Store permanently, with little to no warning from publisher EA. As confirmed on a Reddit post the other day, the 5 titles were removed from the storefront in the very same day. They were Need for Speed Carbon, Need for Speed Undercover, Need for Speed Shift, and Shift 2 Unleashed, and Need for Speed The Run. In-game stores for all the aforementioned titles have also been closed, and online servers will follow on the 31st of August 2021. This is being done so the teams working on the franchise can focus on the future, they claim. Quote, the development teams and operational staff have put a lot of time and passion into the development, creation, release, and upkeep of these games over the years, and we love to see you play. But the number of players has come to a point where there is no longer feasible to continue the work behind the scenes required to keep the Need for Speed Carbon, Undercover, Shift 2, Unleashed, and The Run up and running. Makes sense. Probably had like tens of people at best. And I don't understand why they had to pull them from the store. I understand the removal of the servers, so closing down of the servers, but why remove it from the store?
I mean, does it cost them anything to have them on the store?
Don't think so.
Is there a fungible? I don't know.
A fungible.
Shut up. All right, let's wrap things up with some quick bits. So a big thank you to the Microsoft Store. We have another gaming leak revealing that 2 Point Hospital developer 2 Point Studios is currently working on a more educational 2 Point Campus on its simulation and strategy titles.
Gimme. I want it.
Final Fantasy VII Remake has been updated to allow you to transfer your save file in preparation for Intergrade's release this week.
Take it. You can take it. Take out one. You can take it. But that makes me happy because we were talking about last week about how I don't want to fucking start the game again. I don't have to now. I could finish Final Fantasy VII and then move into Intergrade.
You won't, but...
No, I won't.
Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart preload is now live for those buying digitally.
Coming out Friday. So neither you or I have gone hands on it yet. Reviews are not out at the time of recording. We have no idea what the future holds, Max. Obviously that we do have friends that may or may not have access to it at the moment. Like, it makes sense. It should be out in the wild. We haven't asked anyone. We haven't spoken to anyone because no one said shit. Let's lay it on the line, Max. How do you think this game's going to go? Let's get some early predictions out. How's it going to go?
Do you want just straight what I think the Metacritic score is going to be?
Yeah, and then add some thoughts to it. Because
like
obviously we had all the preview stuff last week, the week before. Like we're all working off the same information here. How do you think this is going to go?
Being one of the few PlayStation 5 exclusive games, I think it's going to do really well. I think it's going to sell really well. I think people are going to enjoy it. It's one of the more whimsical platformers out there at the moment, or soon to be out there at the moment. And for a score, I would say mid-80s.
Yeah, I was going to say high 80s. That's kind of what I was thinking. Maybe not in the 90s, maybe like in the high 80s, maybe like an 87, 88, somewhere around there, about there. Yeah. Similar to my thought process is very similar to yours. As in, when we looked at what Sony has released so far with Dark Souls and Demon Souls and Returnal, this is the first one that's not about punching you in the fucking face. And I think people will get that sense of relief. And I do think that we're going to see what PS5 can do here. And I do think that this may get a benefit from that Sony bump that everyone keeps talking about, because it is kind of real. And I do think that will come across here. And it's a PS5 game. It's the first and only really major PS5 from the first party. Give it a bit of a raise. Because once they see if they can see what these time shift things are doing, and the rifts, like if it's as good as what we're seeing in the trailers, as we saw in the preview footage, that makes me think that everyone's going to be wowed by the tech side of things here. Yeah, like it's not going to be 90s. I my heart of heart, I can't see it being a 90s. Hence why my late 80s.
Late 80s.
Which I'd appreciate, because once again, it is still on my list of games, and we will still, even though I have conceded my video games draft with the two games that I still have left to come out, we will tally them up at the end of the year, or at least once Far Cry 6 comes out, so then we all have your entire slate. But yeah, that's the thing. I'm really fucking excited for Ratchet, actually. Like really excited.
It sucks for me. Ratchet comes out the day after Final Fantasy, so I'm gonna have to split my time between the two of them. It's gonna be hard.
Yeah.
First world problems.
Sucks to be you.
No Man's Sky has received a massive update this week with over 21 new enhancements, including flying mounts.
How are they still supporting this game? It's beautiful. Years later, they're still supporting this game.
Yep.
It's
fantastic. Good. It is good. It's fantastic. Yeah. I'm like this close to reinstalling it just to check it out.
Me too.
It looks real nice. It looks real nice.
I think I have it on disc somewhere.
I watched the little video trailer that showed off some of the new enhancements. The lighting looks way better now. There's literally people riding around on flying stuff. It looks kind of cool.
The only problem that I have is because I think last time, it was when they released No Man's Sky Next, right? And I was like, oh shit, yeah, all right, let's go have a look. And then I realized the core of the game's the exact same. I'm like, oh yeah. Like, wow, look at all these things that I can. Oh, it's the same game.
Yeah.
So
Watchdogs
trying
Legion
to get me back, but they just can't.
Yeah.
They can't do it.
Watchdogs Legion is now playable at 60 FPS on PlayStation 5.
I believe there's a zombie or something DLC coming out.
I think so.
Yeah, I got an email about that the other day. Mad.
And Battlefield 6 reveal is set for the 9th of June. I think it's the 10th of June for us local time.
Do you think future or current or old?
I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be slight future.
Ooh, nice.
It's supposed to be slight future.
It's probably a good call. I think a little bit of future / moderny future is probably the best space to release a shooter game in right now. I don't see the.
Well, I'm pretty sure the Call of Duty for this year is going back to World War II again, because it's the follow-on from Cold War. Cold War was the last one.
Yeah, Cold War. Yeah, but Cold War was way after.
No, sorry, not Cold War. It's the previous title from Cold War, whatever. I think it was COD World War II, wasn't it?
Yeah, One.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry. That studio that made that one is making this COD because of the whole debacle where they had to change studios midway through this year or last year, which is why we got Black Ops again.
So Reverend Puck in the chat has jumped in as he is the master of the knowledge. They imply alternative universe to World War II is supposed to be if World War II just kept going until the 50s. That is interesting.
Maybe. But
I'm ready to be burnt. I continuously get burnt. I continuously get burnt by Call of Duty every year, and I'm happy to get done again. Is that it? Oh no, it's my
that's
turn.
it for the quick bits. You're up.
It's my turn now. All right, here are the top 10 best-selling games for the PlayStation 4 for the week ending the 30th of May, 2021. Excuse me, and they are as follows. Number 10, The Last of Us Remastered. Number 9, Red Dead Redemption 2, which I did almost boot up again this week, by the way. Number 8, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Number 7, Mass Effect Trilogy Legendary Edition. Number 6, FIFA 21. Number 5, The Last of Us Part 2. Number 4, Ghost of Tsushima. Number 3, Grand Theft Auto 5. Number 2, Biomutant. And number 1, NBA 2K21. So, for me, obviously, I didn't go back to Biomutant because I'm just not loving it, I'm afraid.
I also haven't gone back to it, I'm afraid.
But yeah, so it looks as if that, obviously, I think the exact quote on the PlayStation Australia's Twitter account was, "Guess there's a sale on," because there's a couple of repeated sort of oldie shorter games, which is mad.
Yeah.
Oh, Max! Oh my God! Look at that list. Whoa!
I know. Upcoming titles for this week. We have Chivalry 2 coming June 8th to both PlayStation 4 and 5. We have Alba, a wildlife adventure, June 9th, PlayStation 4 and 5. Chicory, A Colorful Tale, June 10th, PlayStation 4 and 5. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, June 10th, PlayStation 5. Ninja Gaiden Master Collection, June 10th, PlayStation 4. Guilty Gear Strive, June 11th, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, June 11th, PlayStation 5. And lastly, Darius Burst, Another Chronicle X Plus, June 11th, PlayStation 4.
Nice. Ratchet and Clank's obviously the big pick one for me because Guilty Gear looks like a fighting game that I cannot play. Ninja Gaiden looks like a hard game that I cannot play. Final Fantasy VII I'm choosing not to play.
Wow. Just tell it like it is, man. Tell it like it is.
Obviously, Final Fantasy VII Remake's your pick this week, Intergrade.
Yeah, like I said, man, Final Fantasy comes out and then the day after Ratchet and Clank comes out, I don't have enough hours in my day anymore to play two games like this. Hopefully Ratchet isn't too long.
We don't know. We have no idea. I don't think they've talked about the length at any point. But I'm having fun.
I know the preload size was like in the article that I read, I think it was like 30-ish gig. They said Final Fantasy VII Intergrade's going to be bigger than base Final Fantasy VII.
It's 80-something gig with Final Fantasy, or is it additional?
No, it's
going to be 160 gig?
Yeah. The base one's going to be 87 plus the extra stuff. So we're probably looking at like 90 to 100. We're looking at Call of Duty size, possibly, for Final Fantasy VII. When is Sony going to announce when we can put new drives in our PlayStations? When's that happening? When's that news dropping? Because I'm keen for that.
What the fuck?
When can we use the other hard drive slot in our consoles?
How can just the DLC for Intergrade be more than the entire fucking first game?
No. I don't think that. No. So the base game, like just without the excess, I think it's going to be the same size, but then more. I don't think it's going to be double the size. Okay. I think it's going to be bigger, but I don't think it's going to be double the size.
All right.
At least I hope not, because otherwise I'm going to have to delete like a ton of shit. Yeah,
it's not looking good. Either way, big thank you to everyone for joining us this week, and for those of you that do watch on live with us on Twitch, big thank you. It's great to see some names in there, like the Mullet Show with his resubscription for his 39th month. He goes, "I think I live here now." I think you do. And of course, always thank you to the Reverend Puck for his help, and Josh Robinson has just jumped in with 2 little hand waves. Hey, Josh Robinson, as well as Killer for coming in, patiently waiting as Max dealt with his shitty internet problems before we kicked in. That's what. There's too many chats for me to scroll back. But the worst of other names, a big thank you to everyone that did come and join the party. Much appreciated. Max, let's send it home.
This PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning at 8 a.m. on podcast services, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you'd like to come take part in future conversations with us, please come check out our socials. Facebook, Discord, Instagram, and Twitter. All of those links can be found in the description below.
If you want to join us as the conversation happens, head over to twitch.tv/thepopcultures, where you can watch us record this show live. You can become part of the chat. You can become part of the show. If you want to support the show, you can. Tell your friends, tell your family about this PlayStation pod. If you're on the podcast, so be sure to give us a 5-star rating and a written review. If you are on YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment below. We endeavor to answer every single comment. If you want to support us financially, you can at patreon.com/thepopculturist, as well as our merchandise store, popculture.com/shop. We buy shirts and other assorted shit with our logos on it. Speaking of, tables coming along well. Hopefully should be here soon. Obviously lockdown delayed it a little bit. New table is coming. Getting wrecked in this table is coming.
I need to message Ethan again.
But until next week, I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And that was For the Players.